Your trial exams are either going to break you or make you. And right now, while most students are crumbling under pressure, this is your chance to rise and make the greatest comeback ever. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I was able to dominate my trial exams, rank first in every single one of my subjects, and absolutely destroy my cohort. These trial exams can be the launchpad for your final HSC so that you can still achieve the ATAR that you want to achieve. So do not play around with them, do not waste them, and let's jump right into it. How to dominate your trial exams. So before we get started, I just want to go over my personal results that I got on my trial exams just to show you that this stuff actually works, okay? So here are my results. For English, I got 100%, first time ever in my school. For math, I got 93%. For software, I got 85%. For PHP, I got 97%. And for biology, I got 96%, all first rank, right? So I absolutely dominated my trial exams and it was the best thing ever because it set me up for my final HSC where I was also able to dominate that. Okay, so those are my results, and now it's your turn to do the same thing. So before I get started with the step-by-step process for success, in other words, how to prepare for trials, I want to go over the mentality that you need, the mentalities that you need for success. Okay, because honestly, when it comes to trials and really anything in life, I find that people who have a poor mentality don't end up doing well, ever. Like that's just the truth, right? They don't end up doing well, okay? So these are the mentalities, the top things that you need to mentally tell yourself if you want to truly succeed, okay? Number one, you must outwork everyone, okay? I don't care what you hear online. I don't care what people tell you. If you're serious about success, you need to outwork everyone, especially for trials. Now, why especially for trials? Why not just for the HSC and all the, obviously you need to outwork everyone all the time, but it's even more important for the trials because your trial exams put the seal on your internal results. What that means is after your trial exams, your internals are finalized. Like you can't do anything about your internal results anymore. That's why you need to make sure that you absolutely maximize your ranking and your marks for your trial exams. Okay, and just in case you didn't know, I'm going to quickly give you a recap. Your ATAR consists of 50% internals and 50% externals. And with regards to the internals, the NESA or the external exam boards, they specifically look at your ranking, right? So your trial exams are a big portion of that. And after those trial exams, you can't touch this anymore. So do you see why it's very important you outwork everyone, you do your absolute best, and you need to make sure that you rank as high as humanly possible, right? The trial exams honestly saved me a lot because all these subjects I was ranked first in, the trial exams allowed me to do that, right? So that's very important to understand, okay? So first things first is to outwork everyone. And the way you do that is just do what everyone else wouldn't be doing. Wake up earlier than them, do more papers than them, just put a lot of effort in, okay? For trials, it's the hardest I ever studied in my life, right? I would do 12-hour study days. I would do 8, 10, 12-hour study days consistently, right? Now, you might be thinking what the hell would I really need to do that? You don't need to do that. You don't need to do anything. But this is my advice to you. For the trials, put in your all, okay? And I'm not joking. It was the hardest I ever worked in year 11 and 12. It was a trial period. Not even the HSC. The final HSC is relaxing, honestly. I didn't work as much. But for trials, I would literally study 8 to 12 hours every single day on repeat, right? So please outwork everyone, if you're serious, of course. Number two is put in your 120% effort. This is similar to outworking, right? If there is a time to put in your all, it is now. Okay, even it's okay if you burn out after trials. I burnt out after trials. It's amazing because after trials, I took a week break, 2-week break. It was amazing, right? You're able to reset, I promise. So don't be scared of burning out. Put in your all, put in 100% effort, okay? Number three is you want to forget about the past. Now, this is very important, okay? Sometimes I'll be talking to a student and the biggest reason why they're struggling to study for trials is because they're too attached to their past. Oh, is it still possible for me to get this ATAR? I didn't really do well in my past internal results. Can I still do this? Can I blah, blah, blah? You need to forget about the past because when your past weighs you back, it's very hard to go forward. I mean, you tell me, you watching this video right now, maybe let me know in the comments, how hard is it to study when you think about the past too much? It's impossible. It's why am I studying so hard when I failed my math exam before? Right? But you want to forget about that. You want to give yourself a completely clean slate for the trial exams. A completely clean slate. It's a completely new thing for you, right? So forget about the past. Now, when I say forget, I obviously mean extract the lessons from the past, meaning if you've messed up, results or subjects or whatever, make sure you learn why you messed up and implement that. But as soon as you do that, you want to forget about it. No more emotional attachments, no more caring about it, right? Mentality number 4, very, very important. The more past papers done, the more marks you get. That is a mentality I need you to have, okay? The more past papers that you do, the more marks you get, okay? You need to genuinely believe this, okay? Now, is it true? Not really, because the fact is, it's the way you do the past paper that's the most important. But the reason why I want you to have this mentality is so that you can force yourself to do more past papers. I've done so many past papers, it is ridiculous. I don't have it on me now, but I had this like big, this big file, and I just had a bunch, it was like this thick, it was heavy. And I had like a bunch of printed out past papers. And on top of that, I also had a bunch of past papers that I did on my iPad. I done a lot of past papers, like a ridiculous amount of past papers. And that's what you need to be doing. Okay, the more past papers done, the more marks you get. If you do little past papers, if you don't do enough past papers, you are screwed. I'm telling you, you will not get the marks that you want to get. Okay, number 5 is the more mistakes you make in a past paper, the more you improve. Again, very important. Do you know these results that I've gotten, right? Do you really think I got this in my trial practice at home? Hell no. I didn't get, I barely got this. For math, I'd barely get 90%. For all these subjects, same thing. I never done well at home. But it was because I made so many mistakes that I learned so much and I got better. And so that when I actually did the trial exams, I got these results. Like, you have to understand, the more mistakes you make on your past papers, given that you learn from them, the better you will do, right? So you need to make more mistakes. Obviously not intentionally, but you get the point. You need to make more mistakes. You need to do more past papers. You need to get more mistakes. You need to learn from those mistakes, and you need to repeat. Very important, okay? And finally, the last mentality is no more being a baby, okay? You must do the hardest tasks first, and you must focus on the hardest subjects first. No more being a baby, okay? I don't want to hear any of you say, oh, but I really don't like studying for this subject. Who cares? You have to get it done. If you don't like studying for the subject, you should have dropped that in year 11. It's too late now, okay? Please stop being a baby about this. If you find English to be the hardest subject for you, make sure you start off with that. If you find math to be very difficult, don't avoid it. Focus on it, right? If you hate this, if you hate a certain type of question, I don't know, in biology, you hate doing like graph questions, do more of them. Whatever you hate the most, whatever you find hardest, you need to do them first, okay? No more avoiding, because I'm telling you, it's going to bite you in the backside if you ignore it, right? And there's one other mentality that I really want to include, which is go full monk mode, okay? What I mean by go full monk mode is, look, your trial exams are what? In a few weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, depending on your school. My school was like so close. So for me, it was like sooner. But when I say go full monk mode, for these period of trials, don't go out with your friends, don't hang out, don't waste your time, just go full in. Just go all in. I promise you, you're going to love yourself for this at the end. Because once you go all in, once you put in your absolute all, you're going to finish your trials being satisfied, being happy that, you know what, I've really, really maximized my internals. The worst thing you can do is finish trials being like, man, I could have done more of this stuff. You don't want to do that. Like I said, it is okay to burn out after trials. Okay, so go full monk mode. Don't hang out with your friends. Don't go out. Don't do this random stuff. Yes, take breaks at home. Yes, relax at home. But I mean, don't like waste time outside of that, right? So during my trial period, I literally did not see a single friend. I did nothing. I just studied. I woke up, ate, studied, obviously done exercise, obviously still took breaks at home, and then just studied. Like, that's all I did. Just study, hours a day, every single day, right? It's the best thing I've done. Okay, so full monk mode. All right, don't go to any concerts, don't go to some random BS, just full monk mode. Okay, because the time is going to tick very, very fast. You might be thinking to yourself right now, oh, my trials are in 5 weeks, man, that's a long time. No, it's not. It's going to go very, very fast. Okay, extremely fast. So don't underestimate the time. Okay, for HSC, after trials, that's more chill. You have like months. But now, you don't, okay? So those are the mentalities you needed for absurd success, and that's that. Now, let's go on to the step-by-step process that you need for success for the trials. And before I go into that real quick, I completely forgot to add, I want you to put a timer. So put on a timer for Sorry, a countdown. Put on a countdown for trials, okay? This is something that might stress you out and break your mentality, but it also might bring you back up. For me, it brought me back up. I'd highly recommend you right now to set a reminder for when your trials are and put a countdown for when the trials are. So what I used to do is I have a whiteboard over there, you can't see it, and every single day I tick off how long I have the trial. So for me, I'd be like 4 weeks, or actually I do it on a daily basis. Okay, 30 days, 29 days, 28, every single day I'd update it. And this kept me so locked in. If you're ever wondering like how were you able to stay focused for that long, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, it's because I saw my countdown on the board and I was like, oh my goodness, I need to study, right? I'd highly recommend you do this. If you're the biggest enemy here, I'd say, is to think you have time. You don't have time, okay? So you want to consciously look at it by putting a countdown on, all right? Cool. Now, let's go into the step-by-step study process for success for the trial exams. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. And it is this. 4 phases I've included. Phase number 1 is the identification of weaknesses and gaps plus planning your attack. Phase number 2 is filling up gaps and weaknesses. Phase number 3 is aggressively doing exams and seeking feedback. And phase number 4 is mental management. So let's jump into each of these phases. And if you're not doing this already, I'd highly recommend you take notes. Okay, let's go. Phase number 1. Identification of weaknesses and gaps plus planning your attack. So the aim of this stage is 2 things. Number 1, to see what you do and don't know, obviously very important. And number 2, it's to plan your studies up until the trial exams, okay? Remember, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, okay? If you do not plan your studies for these trial exams, if you're not planning your preparation for the trial exams, what the hell are you doing? Like, I don't know what is wrong with you, right? And to see what you do and don't know, this is also very important because if you don't know what content you find difficult, if you don't know what you don't know, then you're going to put effort into things that you don't need to put effort into, right? So how do we do this? Let's start with this one, identification of weaknesses and knowledge gaps. The way you do this is pretty simple. Number 1, you print out the syllabus for all your subjects, right? Yes, print it out. You can do it digitally, sure. I personally like to print it out. Then you want to use the stoplight method on each syllabus and dot point, right? So for the whole syllabus, you want to go through each dot point in the syllabus and you want to highlight it using one of 3 colors. Red being I don't know this at all. Orange being I need to revise it. I'm uncomfortable. And green being I know this and I'm confident with it. Right? So this is very important. I've discussed it on the channel before, but you want to use this stoplight method to make sure that you see what you do and don't know. Okay. So the way this looks like is, for example, let's say we have the syllabus. Let's say it says topic 1 and topic 2. Sorry, let me change it into dot points. Let's say we have the syllabus topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. Basically, you go to topic 1. Oh, how well do I know this? Yep. Okay. I know this really well. So that's green. Topic 2, how well do I know this? Oh, I completely forgot this, blah, blah, blah. You get the point, right? So it's that grading system. If you're unfamiliar with this, I'd highly recommend you check other videos on my channel. I've gone over this before, right? So use the stoplight method for each of your syllabus. And number 3 is now you're going to have the end result, which is now you're going to see what you need to work on, right? It's that simple. So do this for every single one of your subjects. Do it for English. Now for English, because there's not really a syllabus for it, you want to do it for the modules. So for example, common module, how well are you with that? Module A, how well are you with that? Module B, how well with that? Module C, etc. Right? For math, it's the same thing. You just do the syllabus. And for all the other subjects, it's just usual, right? So that is the first step. You want to identify weaknesses and knowledge gaps. And then step number 4 is you want to create a weak topic list. Okay, very, very important. So do you know how in this this method here, we on the syllabus, we're going to see what we do and don't know. I then want you to create a whole separate list. I personally use Notion. You want to create a whole separate list on your weak topics that you have, right? And the way you do that is simply by, for example, making a page saying biology, weak topics. And then, for example, you would do a heading for module 5. And then you would use a checklist. So, topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. And then for module 6, you do the same thing, right? Module 6, topic, blah, blah, blah. Make them as checklists, right? So you want to make a weak topic list for every one of your subjects. I did this for all my subjects. And it's important because you can see like face value what you need to fix. right? It's perfect. And that way you can also use it as a checklist. So I'd recommend you even print this out, have it next to you so that you can see what you need to fix, right? That's the first thing. So now we've identified our weaknesses. We know what our knowledge gaps are. We know what we need to do, in other words. Then what we need to do is we need to plan our attack. In other words, we need to plan our preparation for the next 5, 6, 4, whatever, how many weeks are left, right? And the way I personally did this was this. Number one, open up a Word or Google Doc. Number two, create a table with rows for each week up until the trial exams. And then number three is to create a to-do list for each day, right? This is very, very comprehensive and it's really good. So here's how it looks like pretty much. You want to create a table. You can do this on a physical paper. You can do it on Notion. You can do it on Word. You can do it on a Google Doc. You can use one of the templates that I've provided before. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how you do it. You just need to plan, okay? You need to plan. And this is how I'd recommend you. So basically you want to make a table like this, put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You want to put the week, whatever that is. For example, week 1, because you're preparing. So let's say you have 4 weeks until trials. You want to do week 1, week 2, week 3, right? Week 4, let's pretend, just for the sake of examples, we put that in, right? Put that in, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So let's say we have 4 weeks up until trials, and in week 5 is when our trial exams actually are. So, this is for English 1, English 2, blah, 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 right? You want to do this for all the weeks that you have left, and then for every single day, you want to plan out what you're going to do, right? Now, yes, this may take a while. This took me around an hour to 2 hours to do when I first did this for my trial exams, right? It does take some brain power. It does take some planning, but it is the best thing you will possibly do, right? It is the best thing you'll do. Because once you have planned what you're going to do, once you have planned your attack, you will be less stressed. You will be more focused. You will be more confident because you know what you need to be doing. The most stressed out people for trials are the people who try to keep everything here. They just, oh, yep, I got to make sure I do that. You don't want to have anything in your brain. You want to write it all down, okay? Now, yeah, that's that. Now, just some quick guidelines. I'd recommend you a maximum of 3 subjects per day. And in terms of what subjects to focus on per day, you want to go in order of weaknesses and priority, right? So if you have English, if English is your weakest subject, you want to start with that first. And then if math is your second weakest subject, so you want to focus on weaknesses and go from there, and maximum 3 subjects. Okay. Now, one other thing I will say before I move on to the next phase is when you make this plan, this isn't a static plan. It's a flexible one, right? Meaning it is completely fine to move tasks, right? So when I first did this plan, I put everything out, but I never actually stuck to everything exactly how I said. When you don't do a task, all you need to do is just, get it from here and post it here. Just move it to the next day. No problems. Right? So don't be so strict on it. Don't make it static. In other words, oh my God, I need to stick to this every single day. If I don't stick to it every single day, I'm screwed. No, it's not like that. It's a very flexible plan, but the point is you need to plan. Okay? Perfect. That's that. That is phase 1. It's identifying the weaknesses and knowledge gaps. And now we have planned. So by the end of this phase, by the way, you better be taking notes on this. By the end of this phase, you should know 2 things. Number 1, you should know what content you do and don't know. And number 2, you should know what your plan is for your trial preparation. Okay, cool. Let's go on now to the next phase. Phase number 2 is filling up gaps and weaknesses. And what this phase is pretty much now to fix all your weaknesses identified from phase 1 and ensure all the content is covered. That's it, right? So we just went over phase 1. Phase 1, we've identified all the topics we do and don't know, which is through here. In other words, we have the weak topic list, right? In phase 2, we just have to fix those weak topics, right? Which would be ticking off this weak topic list. 1, 2, 3, right? That's pretty much it, okay? Now, the way you actually do this, I have a whole study system shared in another video. I'll link that down below. I'm not going to go over it now, otherwise the video will be way too long. But I've released a video on this channel on how to study properly. I'd highly recommend you watch that and just follow those steps for the to fill up your knowledge gaps and weaknesses. And also, when it comes to doing this, you want to go in the order of red to orange, right? So do you know how in phase 1 we use the stoplight method to identify what we do and don't know? Red and orange are what we need to focus on. Green, you don't touch. You already know green. Don't touch something you already know. Okay? You focus exclusively on these 2. Okay? And that is phase 2. Pretty straightforward. Now, phase 3. Phase 3 is where we want to aggressively do exams and seek feedback, okay? And the aim of this phase is to do as many trial papers as humanly possible, right? Let me just include that there. As humanly possible, with high quality reflection and improvement, and also seeking teacher feedback. Those are the two aims of phase number 3, okay? Now, it's an important note to include here. This step is the most important, and it is the true differentiator between an average and top student / results. It's phase number 3. This is the phase that everyone gets wrong. Everyone. Okay? So pay really, really close attention. The way you do this is this. You want to create a past paper list of all the papers that you'll be completing. By the way, trials exclusive, meaning you only want to do trial papers unless your subject doesn't have trial papers. If your subjects don't if you can't find trial papers for your subject, that's fine, do HSC papers. But apart from that, you want to only do trials, okay? Now you want to create a list of all the papers you'll be completing. Now, if you're wondering why would I create a list, it's just for the sake of accountability and focus, right? If you have a list, you can tick it off, it feels amazing, right? Number 2 is you want to then do all those past papers under exam conditions, right? Timed, no food, no getting up and moving around, no talking, no having Netflix in the back. Do them time conditions. Okay, please just do them time conditions, right? Unless you want to go into your trial exams panicking under stress because of the time, you want to make sure you do all your papers under exam conditions, okay? And now number 3 is after doing around 3 to 4 full past papers for each subject with all the questions in the order, you then want to transition to targeted practice, okay? Very important. Now, what I mean by this is the following, right? When you first start doing papers and practice exams, you want to do all the questions from start to end, every single question that's available. But you're going to realize that when you do more past papers, around, like I said, 3 to 4 or 4 to 5, the number is dependent on your understanding. Once you do enough past papers, you're going to realize that there's going to be a small set of questions that are so easy for you to do, you can literally do them in your sleep. Once you get to that stage, you don't want to do those questions anymore. You want to go straight to doing targeted practice, meaning you want to do practice on the questions that you actually find the most difficult, meaning you want to then transition to targeted practice, meaning you want to do the questions that you actually find the most difficult and most, hard to do, right? Because those questions are going to be the ones that annoy you in the trial exams, right? Remember, athletes, boxers, soccer players, doesn't matter what the sport is, they don't train on their things that they know how to do already. They train on the things that they find difficult, right? So that's how you do that. And remember, make sure you focus on your weaknesses, right? So I've just said this, but I'm going to say it again because it's that important. When you do trial papers, do not just do the questions you know how to do, right? Please, it's such a silly thing to do. You want to face the pain. You want to face the pain of getting things wrong, and you want to do the hardest questions and the hardest things possible, right? If in English you really, really hate doing unseen short answers, you better make sure you do them a lot. If for English you hate doing essays, make sure you're doing a lot of essays. If you hate Module C, make sure you do a lot of Module C, right? And the second thing to remember is make sure you start early and seek feedback from teachers, especially for subjects like English. Very important, right? Make sure you start early. Do not leave past papers till the week before the exam, okay? Do not do that. Start doing past papers for your trial exams as soon as possible. As soon as possible. Do not leave a week to do them, okay? I'd highly recommend you leave at least 2 weeks of only past paper exams. More if you're able to, okay? Very important. So start early. And the second most important thing is you need to seek feedback from teachers, not tutors, no one else. Now, don't get me wrong, getting feedback from tutors is good. That's fine if you have a tutor, whatever. But the best feedback you can get is from your teacher. Why? Because who's going to be marking your trial papers? Is it your tutor or your teachers? It's your teachers, right? So especially for subjects like English, you really want to make sure you get feedback from your teachers on all your essays, on all your unseen answers. Like I annoyed the hell out of my teachers for all my subjects, except for math, because math you self-mark it, you know? So I annoyed the hell out of my teachers for all my subjects. Yes, I would mark it myself. For example, for biology, I would mark myself. For PDH, I would mark for all my subjects, I'd mark myself. But even with that, I'd still get their feedback, because you need to understand, right? If your teachers are marking your trial papers, why the hell would you not get their feedback, right? So it's very, very important you get feedback from your teachers and you start early. Okay, and there you have it. That is phase number 3, aggressively doing exams and seeking feedback. There's a reason why I said aggressively, because I need you to do as many papers as humanly possible with proper reflection, with improvement, right? So as I said over here, when I say high quality reflection and improvement, make sure after each trial paper, you actually improve from it, right? So let's say you do a trial paper, make sure at the end of it, you mark yourself, you see what you did wrong, and you implement that for the next paper. Okay, and there you have it. That is how you do past papers properly. Now, one thing I haven't included here is a past paper, like where to find past papers from. Here's where to find them from. So where to find papers from, it's a few websites. Number 1, THSC. Number 2, thsc.zaxu. And number 3, ACE-HSC. And then number 4, asking your teachers. Okay, so you can Google these online, you'll find them, and then asking your teachers, that's another option too, right? But these sites have so many past papers, there's no excuses. All right. And there you have it. That's phase number 3. And now phase number 4 is mental management, right? And the whole aim for this phase is to simply foster self-belief and unwavering confidence that you will smash your exams. Now, the truth is, once you do phase 1 to 3, like you're going to do well, like you're good to go. Like these phases are all you need to do well in your trial exams. There's literally nothing else. But after these phases, there's one thing that will really, really mess you up if you don't properly fix. It's your mental state, right? If you do phases 1 to 3, right? If you prepare, if you do all these trial papers, if you do all these things, but yet at the end of that, you genuinely believe you're still going to fail, you have zero confidence, you're doubting yourself, you are going to choke, right? You're going to choke. You're going to get into the exam and you're going to completely mess up. Why? Because that is the power of your mind. Right? Your mindset is 90% of the problem, period. Your mindset is 90% of your success. So if you do all of what I've just said, and then at the end of that, you still believe you're cooked, it's going to impact you. I promise you. Okay? So phase number 4 is all about mental management, which is once again, believing in yourself and being so confident you're going to do well. And the way you do this is a few things. Number 1, visualization, right? So I done this every single night during my preparation, especially the day before the exam. I'd visualize myself. I'd close my eyes and I'd visualize myself walking to the exam, finding it easy, smashing it, getting my results back and succeeding. You want to visualize it, like genuinely visualize yourself succeeding. Sit down there, close your eyes and imagine yourself doing well. Okay? This is the most powerful method ever, right? And the reason why it's so powerful is because your nervous system can't tell the difference between a real and imagined experience. So if you genuinely visualize your success, you're going to walk into the exams and not be stressed out, right? It's amazing. Number 2 is take regular study breaks when studying, right? So do you know how in the start of the video, I said that, you should be studying as hard as possible. I studied 8 to 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, consistently. That is with breaks. So I still went exercise. I still relaxed. I still took care of myself, right? Very important. And number 3, this is probably the best method ever. It's to simply detach from the results and focus only on your inputs, right? So, do you know, for these results I got on my trials, right? They're amazing, right? But the thing is, I did not care about these results. Like, I didn't have, yes, I had mental aims. Yes, I said I want to get this and above 90. I did set goals, don't get me wrong. But once I set the goal, I did not focus on the goal, because focusing on the goal is a waste of time. You can't get the goal by focusing on the goal. You get the goal by focusing on the thing that gets the goal, which is the inputs, right? So right now, if you're stressing out for trials, if you're stressing out about, you're not doing well, stop. Just focus only on doing the work. Focus only on doing the steps I've went over in this video and you'll be fine, okay? And that is how you take care of yourself, and that is how you manage your mind, which is very, very important, okay? And there you have it. That is the ultimate guide to smashing your trial exams. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, make sure you let me know down in the comments. And as always, make sure you grind, make sure you work as humanly possible. And if you're interested in getting my help, more, then check the first link in the description. I'd love to help you out and mentor you to make sure your success is guaranteed. But nonetheless, I'll see you in the next one. Let's do it.